with it again with another freaking video. It's a door team. Y'all better get with it or get lost. Period. Yo, I'm in my car. My car look a mess, so I gotta get that cleaned or whatever like that. I got a lot of stuff I gotta get fixed. But I decided to share my story of when I was on birth control. I know it's a lot of people that, but I decided to share my story when I was on birth control because I know a lot of people want to know my story. I know some people already know what I had went through, and then some people don't. And I also want to share to like my YouTubers about, you know, everything. So here I go. So I was on birth control. I had got on birth control when I was about, I think like 16, 17. I think I was turning 17. But I had got on birth control when I was around like, well, actually I think I was 16. So I was 16. And that's when I was on there for a good minute, probably for like 2 years before this shit started happening, or probably like a year. Okay, pause. I had to get my thoughts together. So I was on birth control probably for like a year or two, and I know like when people get on birth control, some people don't have their periods at all, and then some people don't have their periods at all. Cause I like asked some females and they was telling me like, yeah, they never really got on there. They didn't really get on their periods, or their periods was still like regular. And then some people get birth control. So, some people get on birth control because they, their periods are irregular. So there's many reasons why females get on birth control. So, everybody should know my reasoning. I had regular periods. It's just like, who want to get pregnant at 16? I mean, not judging nobody, because, you know, it's some females out here that's had babies when they was young. I got family members that had babies when they was young, so I'm not judging nobody. Don't say I'm judging nobody, because I'm not judging nobody. But me personally, I didn't want to get pregnant while I was young, you know? So I had got on birth control, and it's like kind of beaming in my eyes a little bit. So, but yeah, so I had got on birth control, and when I got on birth control, they I'm just everywhere in this video, yo. So if I keep pausing, I had got on birth control, and they were hot in here. But I had got on birth control, and went to the doctors, and they put me on birth control. And then that's when they it was crazy because my doctor like kept asking me, like my nurses and them, like, you don't want to get on birth control? You don't want to get birth control? But I wasn't sure. But then I was like, yeah, I'll get on there, you know. And then I got on birth control, and they asked me, did I want like the implant, or did I want the shot, like the depot shot, or the IUD? Of course, I'm not letting nobody put no IUD in me. You're not going inside my vagina and sticking shit inside my vagina. That's something that you're just not doing, okay? You're not doing it. So, I know a couple people that had the implant, and it was like, it's for 5 years. And I ain't want nobody going inside my motherfucking arm neither. So I was like, yeah, we can just do the depot. And you know, when you go to the doctors, I meant the nurse, they'll be like, you want it in your butt or your arm? I always got it in my arm. I'm sharing my story. So I was on birth control or whatever. They asked me that I wanted it in my butt or my arm. I usually just do my arm. I never really did my butt. I don't even think I did my butt before, but I used to do my arm. So I got it in my arm, and then that's when yeah, I think it was like every 3 months I used to go. Every 3 months I go get the double shot, and I went to go get it, and some reason, like, I seen like my skin looking real like palish, like eventually. Matter of fact, like probably like a couple months in, or like probably a year in. But I was like, oh, it's probably nothing, you know. So then that's when my I was going to work, and like my coworkers like, Fatima, like, you don't look okay. You look sick. Are you okay? And I'm like, I feel okay. I mean, I be tired like most of the time. And that's the thing, like, every time I come from school, because I had early release. Well, before the early release, every time I would come from school, Like, I just be like real tired. I come from school, I walk home sometimes, and I just feel real tired. You know, like just I eat and then I go straight to sleep. I don't even want to do nothing but go to sleep. And I go to sleep and it's just like, yeah. So then my family members started saying, you look sick. You don't look okay. Like, you look real pale. This is not your skin tone. Like, you're like, if y'all know, like, I'm like light, like brown skin lightish, but I'm not like pale light. So they were just telling me, and then like I was looking at myself in the mirror like, I do look sick. But I like dance and stuff. I was real active, so I was in school dancing and I was in gym and I was just doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, but after that I will always be tired. And remind you, when you dancing and stuff, she had you doing like push-ups, she had you doing like jumping jacks, running around and shit like that. So yeah, so like I said, I'll be tired, yeah. And I started like on some real shit though, y'all. I did start craving like weird stuff. And if you my friend, you know, well, not everybody knew, but some people knew, like I was craving like weird stuff. So it was like real weird. And I guess when they say when you craving weird stuff like that, your iron is like low. So yeah. And that's probably the reason why my skin was real pale. But yeah, so before that, I was bleeding a lot. My period was every day. Listen to when y'all say this. My period was every day. Not every week or never at all. My period was every day. So I was bleeding like non-stop. And I hated it because like I had to dance and stuff. And I had to like wear pads like every day. Because I don't wear tampons. So pads every day. And it was just like, this crazy. So I went to my like nurse. Well, when I went to go for the depot shot, she was like, we asked her, my mother and me went together. Well, she's my aunt, but I call her my mother, so she's my guardian. She used to watch me since I was a baby, so she's my guardian. I call her my mother. But yeah, she went with me like all the time, and she's asking the nurse like, "Do she look pale? Like, do she look sick?" And the nurse was like, "No." Like she kept saying like, "No," and I was just looking. So then that's when the lady gave me the shot again, and my symptoms still was happening. My period was still happening every day. My I had got the depot shot in my arm every 3 months. So eventually my mother was like, "No, you is starting to look more sicker. Something ain't right. When it's time for you to matter of fact," she said, "something ain't right. We're gonna go to this doctor." And the doctor was like, you know, telling me like, "Yeah, she do look a little, let's get some blood work done." I got some blood work done. The next day I went to school. This was when I was in 12th grade now. I went to school and I had early release. And you know, with early release, you get out like mad early, probably before like most of the other students. So I had early release and I walked home and I was eating. That's what every time I come home, I go eat me something. And then I lay down, take me a little nap. So I lay down. Well, I was ready to lay down. And then my mother, she like comes. And the knocking on the door, like banging on the door. Fatima. I'm like, huh? I'm like, what you doing here? You don't get off this early? It was around like 12 noon or something. Around like 11 a.m., 12 noon. I'm like, you don't get off this early? She's like, girl, come on. I'm like, what? What's wrong? She like, you all right? You okay? I'm like, yeah. She like, the doctors told me that your blood work came back and it's an emergency. You gotta come on. So she didn't tell me everything. I'm like, okay, like I'm just thinking everything normal. Well, I knew it wasn't nothing normal because she was rushing me to the hospital, telling me to get in her car. But I was just like, okay, like I ain't take it real serious at first, because I'm like, okay. So I get in the car and I'm like, what's going on? And she's just like, girl, he just said your blood work ain't doing okay. You need to come to the hospital. So he told us that we need to go to the ER. And we went to the ER, and then they admitted me or whatever like that. They admitted me, and I think they did some blood work and all that too. And then they eventually admitted me, and that's when my doctor, he was a male, he came in and he told me everything. And he was just like, what do you do at school? Like, are you active? And I'm like, yeah, I dance. And he was like, you walk from and to school? And I'm like, yeah, I do that sometimes. Like, if my mother can't take me, I walk. And he was like, well, your blood work is extremely low. It's at a 3. If y'all know what that means like, basically, I was at my like death point. I could have died at any given time, which is real scary, because he was telling me like, I'm surprised like you ain't passed out while you was dancing. And I'm like, yeah, I never did. But like, I was like real tired all the time. And like, I used to get like headaches and basically all the signs that tells you that your iron is low. But yeah, he was just like, you could have died if we didn't figure this out. Matter of fact, if my mother didn't take me to get my blood work done and it went like a couple months more in, I could have passed away. I could have been gone. So that's when I kind of like took it more serious, because it's just like, bro, like, I wouldn't have been here. Yeah, I wouldn't have been. I'm not gonna cry, but I wouldn't have been here to see like my friends and family. And when he was telling me like it was at like a 3, like it wasn't at a 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe a 5. It was at a 3, and he showed me like the chart. So I was just like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's my story, y'all. So I know like a lot of like my family and stuff, they be coming at me. Well, like some people be asking me like, how was it like when you was on birth control and stuff like that? I'm just like, it wasn't good for me. Well, I hear birth control is not good for people anyways. First of all, my doctor had told me like, birth control is something temporary. It's not something that you want for like the rest of your life, or like within like 4 to 5 years. It's something that should just be for about a year, maybe 2 or 3. So I just like yeah, I was in the doctor's, and I was in the hospital, and they gave me some no, they had told me I had to get a blood transfusion, but I think my mother was gonna try to donate. Well, my biological mother, she was gonna try to donate, and I think her blood type was different. And then I think my father was, but then we just decided to, because my father, we the same type of, yeah, you know what I'm saying.